13th floor. The 13th floor.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 13th floor, where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing. I'm your moderator, B. Jones, and this week I'm joined by Michael Matthews. What's happening?
What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Good week. Short week coming with the Labor Day weekend, so looking forward to being outside, getting some grill on.
That's this week, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Another government holiday.
Always.
Hey, Days, what's going on, baby?
What's going on, man? Another beautiful day in paradise.
It is beautiful, man. The weather is changing.
Right.
Fall mix in with this summer heat.
It's been raining a lot lately over here in the VA, but you know we still enjoying it.
I am. I see you brought that line.
I hit my finger, bro. Just jam my finger that fast.
Earthquake.
Jam my finger that fast.
Right?
You know what I mean?
I see you switched the shoes out for the line this week. We appreciate it.
Right, man. Got to bring it back. It's Virgo season, but you know we still represent.
Always. Coach K, what's going on, man? You in the building?
What's going on, man? I don't appreciate y'all changing the code on the elevator. The last 2 weeks, I was trying to get up to the 13th floor, and it wouldn't take my code.
That's what we calling it?
Nobody would respond when I was pushing the little button.
Hostile takeover, ladies and gentlemen. We had to get the CEO right.
I've been crawling around in the ceiling for like 2 weeks.
Committed. You hear though?
Yeah.
Easy. Hey, fellas, so I have a question, man. Mike, Coach K, I need y'all weighing in on this heavy. J-Days, give me your thoughts and opinion, too, since
Gotcha.
you're still the single guy. But so you all are married, and I'm sure I don't know if you've come across it or not, but for me, it was an interesting situation with the spouse, not married yet, damn near, kind of in between, whatever. How do y'all feel about using the bathroom or your spouse using the bathroom in front of you?
What bathroom?
Excuse me?
What bathroom?
Number
one or two?
I ain't even made it past number one yet, so I don't know if I can get to number two ever, but we'll start with that, number one.
Nothing happened.
It is what it is, man.
This is what it is?
Hey, listen, here's the caveat to that. Before children or after children? Because if it's after children, you done seen so much during labor that nothing really matters anymore.
Yeah, you seen that during labor.
I mean, I was there. I saw the child come out and everything.
So
afterwards,
what's the body function? You go.
And
I do go, but I don't go in front of anybody.
I mean,
that's not true. Whenever you go to a public restroom, there's a bunch of people in there.
Well, okay. No, it's just different. Like I don't know. I
think I do it.
Yeah,
I've done it in the past.
Like it was okay. So was it like are you saying like the door was open or
no, like she was in the bathroom brushing her teeth, and I'm like,
no, I'm talking to Brett.
No, the door. Like I can't even do the door open. Like I don't know what it is. I got a complex apparently. Like I don't even like to necessarily hear it, and I don't know if it's just because
I feel you on that.
But yeah, no, I was. The conversation was like, well, why can't you just, be in here or whatever? Like, I'm trying to brush my teeth and she got to use the bathroom. We have 2 bathrooms, but the other one's occupied. I'm just like, nah, you can have it. And then it becomes, why is it such a big deal? If it's just a normal bodily function. But for me, it's just, I don't know. It just is what it is. I haven't gotten over it.
Hey, and you're a former athlete as well, right?
Yeah.
So you didn't have to turn your head and cough beginning of every season?
Turn my head and cough.
Yeah, they had to check you for hernias before the season ever started during your physical.
Yeah, we did the physical thing and everything, but
okay, and that was a stranger. Like you weren't even using the bathroom. They were
I think it's more so the sound of somebody else.
You can't,
urinating. I think that's the thing that he's tripping on.
Okay, so there are multiple sounds. Don't focus on the urination. and if
I think that's what Brett tripping on. That's where he
like if you on the turnpike and you ride and you go to the bathroom, are you waiting for everybody to come out before you go?
No. Like I can go in the bathroom. Like I've been in the locker room. Like I've been in the locker room with no doors in high school. So like I don't know where the disconnect is. I don't know why it is where I just.
But that's dudes. I think it's. I think it's a female. Like I think that's the disconnect.
Are you at peace with your manhood?
You have to be if you're in a locker room with no doors with a shower. Or like
That's not what I'm talking about.
What are we talking about? I'm good with. I'm good with myself. It is what it is. You're only endowed as what you're endowed, and whoever.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out. Do you feel like you're still under evaluation, or I mean, like?
I don't think it's a problem for me to use the bathroom in front of my lady. I think it's more so of her using the bathroom in front of me. That's how it started. It was
You see, you needed to frame this the right way then, because we're thinking it was a problem of you using the bathroom in front of her, but it's her using. Oh man, you know how they are. They want to make it seem like they don't. Such things don't come out of their body.
True, absolutely. It's a secret. It just happens.
Nah, I feel you on the hearing it. I don't know what it is. I don't like to hear it either.
That's why I asked one.
But he didn't say anything about the hearing thing. You brought that up.
I did.
Yes, he did.
I did. I don't like to hear it. I can't be in the same space with the woman that's doing it, and we only talking about urination. We're just talking about urination. I don't like to hear it either.
I don't know if this is about you, if this is about your lady. I don't know who this is about, man. What's the next segment, man? Just
y'all ain't no help, man. I'm thinking I'm gonna get some counseling or whatever.
Nah, man. You need a different kind of help, man. I can't help
you. Just brush harder.
We're using the mouthwash to just switch harder.
Make some electric toothbrush. Turn it from the gentle to the polish.
Right.
Hey man, so keeping it on the athlete topic, man. So I came across an article.
Alexa in the bathroom and be like,
I have an Alexa.
And such.
I have an Alexa. She probably hear me calling her right now. Anyway, keep it on the athlete tip, man. I saw an interesting article. I was actually surprised and pleased at the same time. A young man named Maurice Robinson out of Alabama signed to Grambling State over Alabama, Nick Saban and them. And it made me think a lot about, if we got more of these athletes. Now, he's a 3-star athlete, but he was top 20 in the state. But we get more 3, 4, 5-star athletes to make that commitment to the HBCUs, what we could accomplish within the HBCU realm. And I wanted to get you guys' take on it, specifically you, Mike, since you have a young star athlete, man. He's going to be making these decisions in the coming years. How you feel about pushing him, not necessarily pushing him, but helping influence his decision and whether or not it would be good for him to go to a HBCU over a PWI where, the money and resources are kind of overflowing?
I don't necessarily know if I would push him to the HBCU because of it being the black school. He would have to want to be in that area. So like what school you would go to would depend on where you feel comfortable, knowing people around you. If all things are equal and it's HBCU versus PWI in terms of, you're going to get the same amount of time, this can have this advantage, education is all equal, I probably would push them towards more the HBCU just because of the environment. The relationships that he would have would be a little bit different, and specifically because of his upbringing, it's almost an immersion into a culture that you haven't been so familiar with growing up. So I can see him having now both sides and kind of being able to function differently. So for example, we have a cousin, and literally he grew up in Brooklyn, but literally came back from a trip to Jordan because he went to a private school, a boarding school, an all-boys school. He's done mission trips in Jordan, literally was over there for like 3 years and went back for 10 days just because it was fun. And was talking about how they were killing goats. Like his whole environment, his whole understanding is different because he literally grew up in the heart of Brooklyn, but went to a private school. So he got immersed in both. And by being at the boarding school, he got thoroughly immersed in that other culture, to where the kids in Brooklyn are hanging out for the summer. He's on yachts with his friends. So now to leave that and come back to Brooklyn is a little different. And I think it would be the same thing for him. I'm not saying that we're in the yachts with friends part, but
the culture shock is real. And I think that was one of the things that Maurice mentioned in his interview as to why he chose Grambling over Alabama. It was the comfort zone. And then I guess the recruiter, his coach, Looking for his name now.
But I would definitely say there is a difference of school environment though. So he's not getting steak and lobster and custom made omelets and the cash in the envelope when you walking across campus and you the 15th running back on the thing with TVs in the back of your car. That's not happening in Grambling. If he's going to Grambling, he's going to class. He's going to school. He's doing his own work. He's seeing his own tutors. He's scheduling his own classes. Like he may have to go to financial aid because his scholarship ain't all what it's supposed to be. And, you know, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes into big time college football. And that's the reason why they have it. I mean, that's the reason why Alabama a machine.
It is. And Grambling is one of those larger black college programs. But go ahead, Kay.
And I was going to say, I don't think before the season ever starts, Grambling is going to have Eric Thomas coming to speak to everybody. And then the week after, they're going to have Kobe Bryant coming to talk to the team,
right?
Which is what Alabama just did. So, but I think the underlying thing here is, what is he really going to get? Is he going to get a complete 360 coverage of not just being an athlete, but also being a student and being a black man, versus Alabama? I'm pretty sure you're just there to be an athlete,
right,
and to continue the domination of the program. So if I think in this particular case, if you are more interested in total development, that's going to set you up for the future, whether you're an athlete or you're just a functioning person in society, then I could see, you know, you go to Grambling because your grandma said, no, you're going to be more than just a football player.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's the biggest thing and we'll get into the PWI versus HBCU conversation with some HBCU guests. But I think that's one of the bigger things with this whole move. And I see more of it as the sacrifice. And I've had this conversation amongst friends, and what it would take to actually get, you know, more athletes, more black athletes, because we comprise a large portion of the NCAA football, a large portion of the NFL, NBA, you name it. But what it would take to get them to make that jump, and I think it's a huge sacrifice, but the benefits I feel like are there. But I'm not a product of an HBCU, but I've talked to those and I've been around those that have talked about that holistic experience, even through the challenges and, you know, the administrative woes that can possibly be corrected if we funnel one of the major draws back into those institutions, being through the athletics.
Well, I think part of the problem is the greater perception that if you go to a HBCU, that you might as well have been at a junior college.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's probably what the majority outlook is. And we know differently. I mean, we all know people that went to HBCUs and we respect them. We don't have anything against them. As a matter of fact, I feel it's the opposite sometimes, where they look at us and be like, because you guys went to a PWI, your college experience sucked. So
outside of homecoming, I don't know.
Well, outside of homecoming and halftime at the football games.
Yeah.
Band of the hour. Which hour?
Like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, and Brett, I want to evolve this conversation a little bit, right? Because I'm trying to understand how we end up with PWIs and HBCUs, but we don't have PWCs and PBCs.
What would that be standing for?
Predominantly white companies, predominantly black companies.
Well, these are all general terms, but I work at a PBC, so.
Right, but we don't call it that.
I work at a PBC.
No, because it's funny. I think a lot of that has to do with the MBE.
P5,
you have to, it's the system. You got to play the game, right? And in order to assume some of the rights and privileges of an MBE, and which includes women, white women as a minority at this point, that's just kind of what we fall under.
And when you say MBE, what do you?
Minority Business and Enterprise, I believe is what it's
Mhm.
called.
Oh, MBE. Got you. I thought you said NBE. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
Okay, but here's the thing though. So what would be the advantage or disadvantage of working in a predominantly Black company or predominantly minority company?
I
Okay.
think the same.
Access is a huge challenge.
Mhm.
You always climbing the ladder, and this is me speaking on being from experience over the last 6 months. You always climbing the ladder. You always showing improving, and it's like the saying goes, you have to work twice as hard. Prove yourself to be twice as good to even be on that same level, that same stage. And once you do ascend to that level or on that stage where you feel the playing ground is the same, you're not afforded the same mistakes. You have to almost be perfect. And I've seen that in my dealings at working at a PBC with, white clients.
I would think that would be that would be the case for working at a PWC. What I mean? Like if you're working at a PBC,
the way that my company is structured, we contract a lot of our stuff, so it's not a large.
Oh, okay, so you're serving like in the eyes of the clients, you have to be that.
Right.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Right. In order to win bids, in order to win these contracts, continue to lease these hotels, you have to maintain a certain level of like status and reputation. And that slips a little bit, and you might be on the outs, even though it's a requirement on a lot of these jobs to have the MBE on the job site.
So, okay. So the requirement is there has to be a certain number of minority bids.
Mhm.
The requirement has never been that you have to award a certain number of minority bids.
You have to award them.
They have it in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Oh, do they? Oh,
Yeah,
so it has evolved because before it just used to be you had to have a certain amount of minority bids.
But the issue is the enforcement. So once it happens, the minority bid is awarded by me paying you the money I said I was going to pay you, and you never show up. And then I get whoever I want to do it because I didn't give you the full value. I gave you what you thought you should ask for.
And that's part of the issue, is because you'll get a piece of the pie, but it's not going to be. In some instances, it could not be what you're worth or what it should be. Given the fact that I just need your name on a piece of paper. Let me put your name down, but I can bring in the crew that I want to bring in and give them what I want to pay them or what they should.
So think of it in terms of what I just said about that website. Like literally, that's a minority bid requirement. And it was given after the due date. Like, I need you to give me something in a week. So the thought process is, okay, well, this big company is asking me to be a part of this big project. I just need to throw a number out, and it's a full team. Like by the time I looked, it's almost like 10 to 15 people you're gonna need on that thing. So are you supposed to come back and say, yeah, give me $1.5 million to do it? Or do you come back and say, yeah, I do it for 200,000, 250,000? And it was never intended for you to be completely a part of it.
And I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on the challenges because there are benefits as well. Like we said, that holistic environment, being a part of something that's comfortable, people who understand you. And then the development of talent is a little bit different from my experience because I think that when they see something in you, they challenge you, but they challenge you in a way to build you, not necessarily this is busy work, I need you to fit this mold type of thing where I've experienced in other organizations that I've kind of worked for.
Right. And working at a PWC, you do stand out, especially in my field right now. I'm African-American male, and it's nothing but Caucasian, female.
Is that what you are?
I thought you was from Honduras or something.
Yeah. I thought you were like an Indian or something.
Oh, well, I apologize for leading you astray.
You're from the Midwest, man.
No, but yeah, man. So it definitely, like you said, the holistic experience, that culture shock. I was over at another office this past week, and I was able to actually connect with another an African-American female that works there. And it's just the conversation we were able to have, as opposed to the conversation you could have, you can't necessarily have with other people. you don't really get that, like you said, that experience. So you're definitely on the radar all the time, because you could either be really good or you could be like, it could be really bad that you stand out so much, you know. So
right. And so let me ask you guys this question. Is the difference between, and let's not leave out our original thing of this young man who decided he wants to go to Grambling State over Alabama. Is the difference between us going into a competitive environment and the non-minorities, is it a matter of confidence? So confidence to go in and ask for exactly what we want in exchange for our talent. Confidence to go in and say, okay, I know this is what I'm capable of, so I'm not going to deal with whatever foolishness you may have going on here that may not be supportive of what I need, because at the level of talent that I have, somebody else is going to pick me up. Somebody else is going to want me. So I don't have to do this.
I think it definitely ties into confidence. You know, I mean, that's what Maurice did. He went. I think, didn't he transition to defense?
He's playing.
Yeah, he was playing quarterback. He went in there and said, I don't want to do that. I want to do defense. I want to be a DB. So he went there and asked exactly what he wants based off of what he's already been able to produce. And it's hard to do that if you don't really have that mindset, or that, like you said, that confidence level.
But so would he have done the same thing if he was at Alabama?
That's what I think.
I think played at whatever position they told him to play.
I think it's a deeper rooted like trauma almost, because that confidence, I don't know that I would have going into that similar situation out in Alabama, where you feel like you're given what you deserve. And I think that's how we may have been trained as a people for a very long time. Like, I'm giving you what you deserve, and you should be happy in taking that, especially when it's much better than what you had beforehand.
Right, like they kind of almost like they know better. You know, they've been doing it a little longer. They've been in the game a little longer.
Right.
Like Nick Saban, look at his record. Who am I to say? You know, I mean, my opinion is more of a value.
Not necessarily that.
Go ahead, bro.
I would say not necessarily that, but looking at where I came from, Nick Saban is giving me. So I came from this. Saban is giving me this, but I should really be commanding this. But because what he's giving me is, just better than what I'm used to, I'm like, I'm good with that. And I don't necessarily know. I mean, I know that I'm worth more than what he just gave me. I may not have that mindset. It might not have been instilled in me, to ask or demand for what I'm worth. So I think that's the confidence thing that Curl might be.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that kind of gets to the confidence point, because like if you're confident that no matter whatever, I'm not standing below this because this is how I am, and everything that I need going forward is going to be provided, then it's more you're good with it. Like, you won't take Alabama, you'll go where you want to go because it's built from something different. It's built from something internal in terms of how you're moving forward, how your thought process are. It's almost like you don't need anybody but you, yourself, and God, and you understand that, so you just walk.
So does it almost shift from confidence to like value?
I think it's all connected.
Or like, it's all combined?
Okay. Value is high, your faith is high, your confidence is booming.
Okay. Right, that's all a package.
Okay.
Yep,
that's all a package. And I think what happens is we set out with particular goals that we want to achieve. And along the way, what happens is somebody comes and gives you something and you feel like, oh, man, this is good. Let me do this. Right. Whereas that might not be what's going to get you to that ultimate point. So when you bring up values, values is in there because, and remember, we've been through this exercise of writing down values and then using those values to figure out what aligns with you. Right. And I think when you get into this whole athlete thing, or even in the work environment where you know that you want to develop, you want to be in leadership, you want to grow. If you don't check every move against your values, then somehow you end up in the situation where, okay, I went to whatever school and now I'm not making it to the league. Right. And there could be one or two decisions that you made that didn't line up with your values, or you didn't put yourself in an environment that would support your values and therefore help you to keep moving forward. Right. So let's take the Alabama situation. Yeah, I'm going to be on the national stage. I'm going to get exposure every week. Do I necessarily get to play and show my capabilities? That's debatable, especially since there's 3 to 4 guys behind me that probably got the same level of talent, if not more, right? And then not only that, let's say you do get to play. All you get to do is you go out there, you play well in the game. Maybe you do 1-2 years of school, and then you come out of school, you go to the league, you get that injury that puts you out. Now what? Mm-hmm. Whereas another institution, maybe you would have got to play, right? The recruiters got to do a little bit more digging to find the game film on you because you're not nationally televised. But in the meantime, the administration and everybody is making sure that you're going to class. You're going to class. You're not getting any free passes because you're an athlete, right? So I remember being at UM, and the year that I got tapped for Iron Arrow, right, the highest honor achievable at University of Miami, I got pulled out of one of my history classes. And I can't remember his name, man. Dr. Spivey. Yep, that's his name. Dr. Spivey was my professor, and he was a black professor, right? They came and pulled me out of his class right before an exam. I came back to him and said, hey, Dr. Spivey, I'm sorry I missed the exam, but you saw what happened. I got tapped for Iron Arrow. He's like, what does it have to do with me? What does it have to do with me and what you said you were coming to the school for? When you came to the school, did you apply for Iron Arrow or did you apply to be a student at the University of Miami? And I was just blown. I was just like, so you're not going to let me take tests?
But that's what you get. Go to in HBCU, man. We see it on the TV.
What you get as a profile athlete at a top 25 school.
That is not what you get at UM, man. I remember being in some classes and, dudes in the back, they have certain classes where they send the person to check attendance and everything. And, it kind of is what it is. As long as you busting heads on the football field or cracking home runs on the baseball field, you good.
Nah. As long as you cracking heads on the football field or making hoops on the basketball court, that's it. It ain't no baseball, no swimming, no lacrosse, no nothing else. It's just those two. Like it's March Madness and the Super Bowl and the college championship.
It's the ones bringing in the most money to the school.
Right, absolutely. Like it's a basketball that's connected with football if it's still the same way at UM. All the other sports eat in the cafeteria with everybody else.
Nah, baseball got a little profile, man.
So
I've never seen basketball.
I think baseball has.
I think baseball has more profile than I don't see baseball players ever in the dining. Well, I didn't when I was down there. Only one actually. His name was Jamal. And he actually did end up playing with the Pirates for a little while. But he was cool. He was that guy.
But why was he in the cafeteria?
He was comfortable.
That's because the people that look like him were in the cafeteria.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? There weren't but what, 2-3 of us on the baseball team?
Team, yeah, man.
Interesting. But what I don't want to lose is that whether it be historically black college, predominantly white institution, whatever it is, workplace, what you get is what you set expectation for, right? So no matter what it is you're doing, it's up to you to set the expectation. And when you set the expectation up front, remember, you're not just applying to be part of a program, or you're not interviewing just for a job. And again, it says, hey, are you interviewing for this or are you applying to this? It's just as much as you to find out if those are the right people for you as they're trying to find out if you're the right person for their place, whether it be their school or that job. It is on you. You need to interview them just as well, and make sure it's a right fit. And the only way that you can figure out if it's a right fit is going back to what Jay said. You got to know your values and you got to know what your ultimate goal is. And that's what helps you line up. And then that's what they're coming for you, Jay.
They're coming for us here on the 13th floor, man. We got to rap, baby. We got to rap.
People like, what's that? What happened?
They say, oh, no, they connecting. It's too late.
I can show y'all how I got into the room this morning. If y'all
we need that. We need that. J Dace, man.
Peace
Go
out.
ahead, Kay. Go ahead, Kay.
Man, I totally lost it, man. But the bottom line is this young man that chose Grambling State, man, hats off to him. Because that's a big deal. Like, you turn down Alabama, right? Who is the powerhouse, who everybody's going to be looking at. Everybody wants to see who's playing for them. I don't even know how many people they had go in the draft last year or year before, but I'm sure they were tops amongst.
What, 8 of the last 10 championships?
Yep.
Crazy number like that.
Yeah, man. So I look, anybody that chooses, let's say, the more difficult road to get to the destination, hey, props to you.
Props to you.
Don't be scared of that difficult road.
J Dace.
Confidence.
What's going on, man?
We need that fit tip of the week before we get up out of here, man.
No doubt. So, something simple that you can do, man, is practice belly breathing. And I know a lot of us, we don't
again?
belly breathing. Like, when you breathe, let your stomach expand, as opposed to breathing through your chest. So often we do that, and I know I do that. I used to do that all the time, and that's like, you have a shortness of breath, and you don't really understand why. But but belly breathing, man,
it's a real thing, Mike.
It's
a real thing. Like, when you really want to get to the highest level of your oxygen efficiency, you have to belly breathe.
And it's crazy because weight is lost through your breath. Like, the study was found that basically when you're losing weight, the majority of the weight it leaves your body as carbon dioxide, right? So I think it's 29 kilograms of oxygen helps to break down 10.4 kilograms of actually body fat. So belly breathing helps to basically release the weight that's being lost. It's crazy, man. It's a crazy fact. So just practice belly breathing, and it's a restorative process. It helps to restore the muscles in the body and things of that nature, man. So definitely belly breathing. It's something simple you could do. You could do it at the stoplight. You could do it when you're sitting at your desk at work. Definitely just take some time to do that. And, like Kay said, get that full level of oxygen in your body.
Is there like a 1, 2, 3 steps for this type of breathing?
No, man. You just like how you breathing right now. You don't really think about it, but you're taking more so shallow breaths because that's what we're
shallow. Yeah.
So you have to be conscious of it because we're not used to doing it. I'm trying
to do it now. It's a struggle.
Inhale
struggle,
and right, because it's not something you're used to doing. But
so what you can do is, Brett, and how you really know, if you put your hand right here, and when you breathe in, your hand should go up.
Right.
And if you pushed against it, that's how you know how strong that inhale is. And it's not like, you're not supposed to feel like, most people feel like you're breathing, your chest goes up. It shouldn't be your chest going up. It should be your stomach coming out. Yeah,
like, or you can, if you want to do another way, you can lay down and like put your phone on your stomach, and you should see your phone go up and down. It's a process that it may not be easy at first, but the more you do it, the more you get used to it, it actually becomes easier. And then you're being more mindful of it. I mean, like, I've been doing it.
And you become a more efficient breather, actually, because it's way easier to breathe that way than when you're talking and you're trying to breathe at the same time. It's almost impossible, but you'll find that you can breathe that way and talk and do whatever you're doing, and you'll refuel your oxygen.
So this is a workout within itself.
It is.
It is until it isn't. You know what I mean? Like, until it just becomes the natural way, which it should be the way you're breathing. You're not getting as much oxygen as you should be getting. You're not using your lungs to the fullest capacity.
Yeah. So for people like, not you two, because you two stay in relatively great shape. For Mike and I, we don't necessarily just walk around doing that all the time because we look like we were pregnant when we try to fill up.
Yeah, that's why I started laughing. Like, I don't know if I want to belly breathe, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to expand it.
Right. We're busy trying to hold it in. And that's part of it too. If we can be totally honest, that's part of it too. Most people don't want to breathe that way because now you're no longer holding your stomach in. You got to let your stomach out. So folks, stop hiding from it. Is what it is. If you got a belly, you got a belly. And if you don't want
this is one way to get rid of that belly.
Check out my man J Dace. He can show you how to get to that optimal stomach. Get all 6 packed up, 8 packed up.
I got a question for you,
absolutely.
J Dace.
What's
walk
up,
you
man?
through that.
How do you recommend weight loss without waking up at 5 a.m.?
Hey, you don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. to lose weight.
It seems like that's the hour that
If that's
everybody
what your
is working.
schedule, if that's what your schedule demands.
Right. I mean, you got to do, because sleep is super important. Actually, a third of the weight loss in that process that I was speaking of belly breathing, a third of weight loss comes from sleep. So, you know, if you're not getting optimal sleep, bro, you won't be able to lose the weight, or your body's holding on to the fat, and then you have certain cravings throughout the day because you're tired and you're craving carbs as opposed to healthy fats or proteins, you know, because your body's looking for that immediate
Energy source.
fix, right? So yeah, man. So you don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. You just got to find a routine, and I think that's really where the power is, man. Your routine. So if you find a routine that best fits you, like if 7 a.m. is your golden hour, wake up at 7. If you got to go to bed at 10.
Mike's challenge is that Mike is a night owl.
That's what I'm saying.
Most of his stuff done at nighttime.
So,
So for Mike would have to work out at night,
yes.
then go do his
Okay.
work.
Okay.
But then the problem is he doesn't have the opportunity to sleep during the day because he got responsibilities during the day that he has to do. So it's not like he can just say, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep at 6 a.m, get my 8 hours, and then wake up.
Yeah.
I think I've read that optimal sleep, you get the best sleep, most quality sleep from 10 to 2. You know,
10
so
to 2,
10 p.m. to 2 a.m. That's where
That's when he gets
That's
when he
Mike's
gets his best
optimal
work
work.
done.
Right.
that's when you get the best
I
work.
ain't seen-
Okay.
I ain't seen the 10 a.m. bedtime in years. Wow.
Now, what I did read or hear recently on a podcast was that we are tricked into thinking that it's a certain amount of hours, and we should be thinking more in sleep cycles. And it's really about sleep cycles that you need to get, and there's a certain number that you need to get within a week. So when they talk about taking naps, that contributes towards your sleep cycle, but a full sleep cycle is 90 minutes. So when you take an hour nap, you kind of wake up and you still kind of feel groggy because you woke up in the middle of a sleep cycle. So, man, sleep is, as Jay said, it's big.
It is.
And there's a whole lot of science and data out there that we don't even have time for. And
So I remember reading, I got to see if I can find them. I remember reading one book on breathing and one book on water. I didn't get to the sleep one yet, but the water and the breathing ones were good. Definitely life-changing thought processes of how you just approach everything. So, and my grandmother, love you, Granny, she used to sit like at the kitchen table all the time. And I'm like, Granny, what you doing? She's like, I'm over here getting my abs right. She's like, what? And she literally had like a 6-pack. She said she would sit there and people thought she was just sitting there asleep. She said, no, I'm sitting here doing crunches. Like, you don't know, like I'm old and I don't have no belly, baby. You got a point, Granny.
so, Jay, I know this is your lane, but we just want to make sure people know crunches by itself will not make your abs show.
Oh no. Same thing with the breathing. I just said it's a small thing that you include into something that you're already doing. You know what I mean? Like there's no one thing you can do and the weight just falls off. You know, there's small pieces that you combine together that best fits you as the individual, and then that's where you get the results.
Yo, we really need to get a nutritionist on here. That'd be like a great podcast, man. We get somebody, a nutritionist.
Yeah, I'm willing to be a test subject. I'm trying to get to 215, if not 200.
Where you at now? So we at about 245. Easy.
I would say it was one time I thought I had
6'5", Mike?
Nah, I'm like 6'2" on good days.
That's it.
Yeah.
Nah, you got me by a little bit more than that.
I thought you were taller than that.
All right, like 6'2".
Yeah, Art,
No, Art's 6'4".
yeah, Art's taller than me.
And see, I didn't.
Art is taller than mine. I remember.
He is.
Yeah.
And so it's crazy. Like Art is Kyrie size. People like Utah, man. I'm short. Like those.
Kyrie Irving 6'4".
That's crazy. Kyrie Irving 6'4"?
Yep. Him and Steph Curry, same size.
Steph Curry 6'4"?
6'3", I believe.
Nah.
Yeah.
How tall is LeBron James then?
6'9".
6'8".
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
6'9",
Like KD is 7 feet. That's why I say it's like with that was the biggest is to see the height difference, and because everybody's the same height when you're looking at it on TV.
It is crazy though.
6 feet, and then you see a person like, okay.
Kyrie, like I did the Kyrie like 5'7".
I didn't realize Dwayne Wade was as tall as he was. I thought.
Right, I heard he like 6'2", something like that.
No, he's 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
I thought he was only like 6 feet, 6'1".
Like I'm like NFL players are normal size. They're just thick. So it's like I would be a tall, big defensive back. Got you coming downhill, baby. Pow!
How about them Browns?
Yes, sir.
Later for that.
Wow.
We up out of here, ladies and gentlemen. If you like what you heard, make sure you subscribe. If you don't like what you heard, leave us a comment in the under the podcast or on the Facebook page. You can get connected with us at 13th Floor, please, on all social media platforms. J-Dace, where can they find you at so we can get these fit tips rolling?
JDace_encourages on IG and info@jdacencourages.com for the email access.
And for the DIC, man, what we got, man? Where can they get what you at?
Man, it's coming. I promise y'all. Carol at carol.com is being worked on right now. When you got a fancy name that nobody else has, you can get that. You can get that website address, your name, at yourname.com. And social media, man, you can find me at Only Carol. You can find me at Carol Cadallo, KERROLCODALLO. And that's it for now, man. But we're working on big things, man. I'm excited when we come out of this gate. Woo!
Coming out strong. Panache, we ain't gonna leave you out, man. Come on, run it down for us real quick.
Michael at Panache 5 and at Panache 5 Aces, PANACHE, the number 5 Aces.
There it is, man. That's the crew. Appreciate y'all this morning, man. Go be great. We're gonna be out here. We're gonna enjoy the rest of this Sunday. That's it, ladies and gentlemen, here on the 13th floor, where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing.
Get better, baby. Get better.
The 13th floor.
83.
The 13th floor.